These are ideas that I guarantee are going to be successful. And they came about because I took the time to pause and go through the process of on it, not in it.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast.
Minisode.
All right, folks, I'm going to box myself in today. I've been criticized for going a little too long on the minisodes. They are minisodes. So I have a coaching appointment in exactly 16 minutes, and I need a little bit of time after this to do the final whatever I do with it. So this is going to be less than 10 minutes. Here we go. We are sponsored today, of course, by Spark. Spark4appraisers.com. That's where you go to find out how you can save time, how you can save money. That's what it's all about, folks. Spark4appraisers.com. I have for many, many years been preaching the idea, and by the way, I don't claim credit for this idea. This came to me originally, and I know that it came, it didn't just come to Michael Gerber. These are principles that work, right? But Michael Gerber wrote a book years ago called The E-Myth, and then he wrote a follow-up called The E-Myth Revisited, and I'm actually going through another version of The E-Myth currently with my all-star team, with my dream team mastermind. Just a little spin-off of his E-Myth stuff. And we call the E-Myth the Bible in our mastermind. We refer to it often, right? I've said it on this program before. I'll say it again. The E-Myth was written for appraisers, even though the word appraisal is not in the book. At least I don't think it is. It is written specifically for what we do. We are great technicians, but we're horrible business owners, right? It's the whole foundation of how and why I set up the Appraiser Coach, is to help you to be a better business owner, more successful, make more money as an appraiser. And in that book, he talks frequently, I would say it's a main theme of that book, about working on your business, not in your business. I have shortened it to an acronym. We call it OINII, which is just short for on it, not in it. ONINII. On it, not in it. Okay. Did I say that right? Anyway, you get it. On it, not in it. OINII time. And as a coach, I'm encouraging constantly my wonderful clients to make sure that you're taking time frequently to work on it, not in it. Now, for me, that means calendaring. It is on my calendar. You can go to my calendar, and on Monday mornings currently, and I've moved this around over the years, but on Monday mornings, it is written into the work that I do. 7 a.m. Monday morning, I am working on my business, not in my business. At 7:30, I'm working on my business, not in my business as well. What's the difference? Well, I have two businesses that I'm currently working on it, not in it with, right? I've got my short-term rental business, and I've got my coaching business. Currently, my appraisal business, I work for a bigger company. As far as development goes, I do much of that during the week on a high level with other individuals, not so much on a low level because I don't run my own company anymore. But I still subscribe to the idea that working on your business, not in your business, is the way to become successful. And so I schedule out time every single week to spend about a half hour on each one. Now, here's the key to this. I do it on Mondays because Mondays are kind of my planning day. They have been for years. So I don't do any real work, if you will, on Mondays. Typically, Mondays are full of meetings. They're full of planning. They're full of calendaring. They're full of marketing, those types of activities, and not a lot of structure on Monday, meaning I don't have a lot of appointments that I've got to be to. I don't have a 9 o'clock that I have to show up for. Which means that if my on it, not in it time lasts a little longer than 30 minutes, well, I can make that choice. And I often do. It's pretty rare, honestly, that my on it, not in it time lasts 30 minutes only. It typically lasts a little bit longer. So I schedule a half hour for each of my companies. So 30 minutes for one, 30 minutes for the other. And if my first one takes 45 minutes, that's fine. I've still got 30 minutes I can spend on the second company, right? And that one might take 45 minutes as well. I've now spent a total of an hour and a half working on my businesses, not in my businesses. And that has served me very, very well. I will tell you that most of my success comes from a couple of different places. And these are things that I am preaching constantly. Number one, we've talked about on it, not in it. Number two, masterminds. I belong to masterminds. I run masterminds. I am a big fan of the idea of collaborating with other individuals. In other words, solo time and group time. The ability to be able to sit down and talk with yourself, if you will, like focus on yourself. That's on it, not in it time. Focus on your business alone and just be there with your thoughts. And then the idea of being in a mastermind where, for example, next week, I have the hot seat on my mastermind here locally, where I go with other business owners, not appraisers, but other business owners, and I talk about whatever I have an issue with. Right now, I currently have an issue with a certain thing. I sent it out to them already via email and said, hey, next week, this is what I want to talk about. So here's some things that you can start to think about because I would love your help with this problem. That's on it, not in it time. Recently, I spent an entire day on it, not in it. I want to talk to you about that and the epiphanies that I had during that time when we get back from the break. First, I want to pause and remind you that we're sponsored by a great company. Well, the company is Spark. Spark for appraisers. What is it? It allows you to take the data that you choose as an appraiser and input it into your report, whichever report writing software you use. Okay, it doesn't matter. The major ones are there. You can take that data, whether it be tax data or MLS data or comps, input it, or how about the MC sheet, folks? Yeah, it will do all of that. Input it directly into your report so you don't have to, or you don't have to pay somebody else to. It's technology at work. It is what I've been preaching for many years. Use technology to help you to save time and money. Check them out by going to spark4appraisers.com, spark4appraisers.com. Welcome back to the program, everybody. Dustin Harris hanging out in the podcast chair. We are on YouTube. If you have not joined us on YouTube, I highly recommend that you do. It's the Appraiser Coach. It's really easy to find. Go to YouTube, type the Appraiser Coach, subscribe to the channel. You will not miss an episode. Okay, folks, we are talking about on it, not in it. I promised you that we would be under 10 minutes, and we will. Recently, speaking of short-term rentals, I have cabins plural, within about an hour and a half of my house. Okay, it's an area just outside Yellowstone National Park. It is a high tourist area. It's been very successful for us. But every once in a while, there is an empty day, right? You have somebody that might stay Thursday through Sunday, and then somebody that might stay Sunday through Tuesday, and then you've got a Wednesday that's open, right? The cleaner has been there. She's done her thing. We're ready for the next booking, but there's an empty spot. There's an overnight empty spot up there. Again, it's about an hour and a half away. Why not? The other day, my wife was out of town. My kids were involved in other activities. We've only got 2 of them left at this point. Not 2 kids left, 2 kids left at home. I want to clarify that. 2 kids left at home. And it was just a perfect time for me to say, you know what? I'm going to go up to the cabin. And anytime I go up to the cabin or one of the cabins, it typically means I'm going to spend the day working there, right? I'm going to be cutting branches. I'm going to be, deep cleaning. I'm going to be, maintaining something that it needs repair. And this time I decided, no, I'm going to work on it, not in it. I'm going to spend the entire day, with the exception of lunch and maybe taking a break and going for a walk and sitting in the hot tub and what have you. But I'm going to have nothing else on my agenda. No work, if you will, on my agenda. No coaching. No stuff for true footage. No short-term rental marketing stuff. None of it. Right. I'm going to basically turn off my phone for the day. Now, those that need to get a hold of me can get a hold of me. But everybody else, I am going to spend the day working on my business, not in my business. Folks, I will tell you this. I came away with at least one really good idea for each of those 2 businesses that I spent time on that day. What would you pay to have one really good idea? Folks, these are ideas that are going to make me money. These are ideas that I guarantee are going to be successful. And they came about because I took the time to pause and go through the process of on it, not in it. highly recommend you take that time, not just on a weekly basis, but sometimes the entire day. Thank you for joining me, folks. We did it in under 10 minutes. Love y'all. Go create some value.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.